In the end, one of the main reasons why the Outlaws took a happy ending is that King's dad lent LUZ his powers after she was yeeted into his realm. The thing is, she's been to this realm several times before. What makes you wonder, could the show have ended way faster? What if LUZ had met the Titan earlier? Under that premise, the situation is as follows. The show goes down exactly as it did in the original up to the episode Yesterday's Lie. So, LUZ believes she has managed to build a portal to the human realm, resulting in her ending up in the in-between realm, the realm the soul of King's father is residing in. First, LUZ continues as expected, contacting V and her mother. Originally, her portal eventually began closing, forcing King and Ida to pull LUZ back into the demon realm. On this timeline, let's imagine before the portal breaks down for good, LUZ first loses the connection to the human realm, but still has some time left in the in-between. She's frantically yelling, trying to re-establish the link between the worlds, until a voice appears behind her, explaining that it is lost. Going into defense mode, LUZ spins around to face the voice. King's dad steps out from behind some cubes with the words, "I know what it feels like, not being able to hold your loved ones." LUZ lowers her guard as she begins to recognize the skull head, the yellow eyes, and the fur as strikingly similar to Keaton's. Could this be King's father? The idea pops up in her mind and is reflected on her face. King's dad smiles, confirming her suspicions. In all brevity, he explains to LUZ who he is and what he's doing here, because they do not have much time before the portal will shut. Instead, they need to be talking about the important stuff. Being the Boiling Isles Titan at all, basically a celebrity and god of this world, he is at all times aware of what is going on the Boiling Isles, which are of course his own body. Consequently, he knows that Belos is Philip Wittebane, that he's evil, being supported by the Collector, and is about to kill all magical beings using the draining spell. In the little time they have left, he tries to inform LUZ about all of this, because at this point of the show, LUZ and her friends haven't got the slightest clue about Belos' true plans, apart from the fact that he is plotting something. Lastly, he makes it very clear to her that Belos must die, otherwise there is no stopping him. And there are 3 ways they can handle the situation now. The first one is basically just pulling the original ending forward. King's dad gives LUZ Titan powers, and since these are for a limited time only, LUZ only wants to use them for this specific purpose and then return them, she immediately makes her way to the Empress Castle to challenge Belos to a duel. Considering that he is not even a giant monster in this case, he is losing to LUZ within a matter of seconds. Yet, this route is not outstandingly likely. King's dad and LUZ are aware that they cannot just go ahead and kill Belos on a random Wednesday afternoon. The Boiling Isles have gotten used to Belos' system. Should the Emperor perish, the question of who is going to fill his place will arise. Many of the Coven heads yearn for the position, so that the Boiling Isles would be cast into chaos as the entire political system is crumbling. In the worst case, a Coven war would ensue. Not to mention that at the current time, the citizens are still fully supporting Belos and his lies about glorious times lying ahead. After assassinating their great leader, LUZ would become the target of their anger, being placed in a position of either risking getting hurt herself or hurting the others. For this reason, the second and third route are possibilities. King's dad cannot give LUZ the powers now, but this is their only chance. The portal is already beginning to close. On the second route, King's dad tells LUZ about the Collector and their shared past. He gives her as much information on his personality, his flaws and true desires as he can, further adding that he regrets having been forced to seal him, but that he could not manage him at the time and had to prioritize the safety of his people. However, having seen how LUZ has changed the lives of so many people on the Boiling Isles, he is convinced she can handle him. Currently, he is the only person who can stop Belos, so LUZ must get his help while preventing him from becoming their next big enemy. In accordance, until the Day of Unity, LUZ does not get the chance to make a move. When the day finally comes, they wait for Belos to expose his true colors by casting the draining spell. In the meantime, LUZ and King sneak into Belos' laboratory before Belos even gets rid of the Collector. Given that LUZ knows exactly what the Collector is like, she knows precisely how to treat him and what things she's gotta say to him to trigger his development instantly. Determined to take the future into his own hands, he stops the spell and defeats Belos. Still, there is a tiny probability that even LUZ will not be able to get through to the Collector, so relying on him could be too risky. King's dad is not taking any chances, given that his son's life is in danger. But he's got an ace up his sleeve. The original Titan glyphs work differently than the ones LUZ is using. I'm assuming that LUZ's version is an extremely stripped down version of the original ones. In other words, you can do a lot more cool stuff with the original glyphs. Maybe King's dad can infuse a glyph with his powers so that LUZ can activate them when she feels she needs them. Until then, they can try to stop Belos using any methods with less recourse. On the day of Unity, LUZ arrives not long after the draining spell has been cast. She releases the powers and kills Belos. Yet, she does not possess the abilities to bring the draining spell to an end. As it turns out, they have no choice but to free the Collector anyway. Theoretically, everything could turn out just fine if LUZ manages to keep the Collector's temper in check. But if she doesn't and he goes wild like in the original, LUZ will not hesitate to face him. In that scenario, the battle between the Collector and Titan LUZ would probably spell doomsday for the Boiling Isles, no matter who emerges victoriously. For more The Owl House cartoon and anime content, subscribe to Frogtoons. And if none of us need to save the world, I'll see you next time.